S-T-U-B. S spells stubs. S-T-U-B. S spells stubs. Stubs.
Ah, there is one thing that I do want to get into though. As far as my predictions from previously, I was wrong on a couple of things. But speculation, it happens. But what we didn't talk about previously, because it hadn't been out when we had recorded that one, was the Doomsday teaser
announced, with all the cast
kind of announcement.
Yeah.
But like this we already knew based on that teaser that all of this cast was coming back. They're going to be in that movie. Knowing now what we know, it makes even more sense that they are.
Yeah.
But for the other characters, the other actors and stuff, that I think I said at the end of the previous thing was it's all going to be nostalgia grab. And that teaser for this cast is like 40% nostalgia grab.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you said it. You were like, oh, they'll dump everything they've ever done live action into it.
So I don't know if you, just based off of what you can kind of glean from that cast and stuff, what do you think that they're going to do? Like Doomsday, the name, outside of Doom being in it at all, what do you think like the arching things like narrative will be?
For those movies?
For just Doomsday. That's the only cast we know
For just Doomsday?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are going to get taken out really early.
Probably. But so I said before that one of the big outstanding things that is totally going to happen is going to be an incursion level type of thing. Realities colliding with each other. This is the reality of the current MCU timeline and the X-Men timeline, or not the official one that's we've seen in movies before. It's going to be the Beast one, the one that's at the end of the Marvels.
Yeah, the one that you see in that tease, right?
It will be those two realities fighting it out. It's basically Avengers versus X-Men.
I've heard people bring this up, like that this might be a thing, and
because I mean it makes perfect sense, and it's you get a Civil War like based storyline out of it. Two opposing forces, whoever joins whoever's side, based off of what their alliances are or where they kind of see if they're in the right or wrong and stuff. So I think that's how that's going to be. Maybe a three-way thing based off of what we see with like the Thunderbolts and stuff, but that's my solid guess, especially since because it's too much of a coincidence also that every one of the main characters or the top billing characters from everything from Phase 4 and 5 is in this.
Yeah, but like the biggest draws for the Fox movies aren't in, like Hugh Jackman wasn't announced.
We don't
Toby
know that.
Maguire.
We don't know that.
Again, there's a bunch of people.
Maguire doesn't matter. That's not part of the Fox stuff. It's not X-Men related. I don't think that it will be. It's mutants versus Avengers.
Well, if you're going to open this Pandora's box and you're going to say, let's bring in all the nostalgia.
No, not yet.
Why wouldn't you bring in?
Not yet.
Well, I'm not saying they'll be there the whole time.
X-Men stuff will
I'm saying those top build, the A-list characters will show up at the end.
The X-Men stuff will be dealt with in Doomsday, and then in Secret Wars, that's the toy box. That's where you can bring in whatever you want constantly. Like it from all eras, from all live action, anything. But at least to get the X-Men stuff out of the way, because I don't think that they're going to survive. I think whoever at the end of this, it's going to get scuttled, and then Secret Wars changes things, and then we get to see like any outstanding whatever will be shown up in there. But
Doomsday has to set the stakes for Secret Wars, though.
Yeah, but no one's walking out of this. The Thunderbolts, I don't think, are going to show up in Secret Wars.
Oh, you think that they'll get taken out and Doomsday.
I think that's part of the reason why most of this
when you look at these characters,
well, but that's why I think most of this
they
cast
could have been taken out in this movie.
Well, not based on what we know now, but that's what I think. Most of the cast and that's why some of the heavy hitters haven't officially been announced for this yet. Hemsworth's not in it. Reynolds isn't in it. Ruffalo, like all the mainstays that are still around. Brie Larson, like they're if they're on the fringes, why aren't they in this? But I think that's the reason why is that this event will be Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, X-Men, outstanding main cast from the previous Phase 4 and 5, and then going from there.
Yeah, okay. Secret Wars is obviously what they want to put it all in, right? Like that is their big
nose holds barred.
Yeah, I mean, right, like the nose holds barred.
No holds barred. No.
I'm gonna let you get through it. No holds barred.
That's what I said. No.
You start with nose.
Nose.
Nose hold barred.
No holds barred.
Secret Wars is, I mean, again, it will be, like you said, it will be the toy box event of you're dumping out all of your superhero toys onto the floor.
Everything.
And just beating them together.
It's the ultimate battle of ultimate history.
Again, like, sure. That's fine.
Yep. Indiana Jones will show up.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Rom the Space Knight will show up.
He's right there.
Oh, no, you actually got him.
Well, I got him for Brian. I didn't get him for me.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay, so going into the Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
How did you feel about it? Just after it was over, pretty good, not so good?
Oh, no. I thought it was good. It's fun. It's one of the better post-Endgame movies. The cast is a lot of fun together.
Most of the cast is.
Well, I will say that I had a surprising gripe with one of the characters.
Oh, I think it's the same character.
Maybe it is. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. But yeah, again, one of the better post-Endgame movies. Just a solid, fun romp, a good time. Like,
it's not overly complex.
Doesn't try to be too complicated. Again, like, as much as I've griped about, we've just been meandering and wandering in the wilderness and doing nothing. This movie doesn't trouble itself trying to push a bigger narrative, but that's fine because it's executed well.
It does
and it's
to
fun.
A degree because
very
smaller things that in previous video or previous podcasts we discussed where there's some payoff for some of the things that have been left outstanding for a few things. You know what I realized watching this and then knowing most of the DC slate and stuff that's coming out here soon, I prefer Marvel stuff to be grounded. Like, it is more enjoyable when that stuff is all focused in reality in like a brief kind of only tangented offshoot from our own reality. And DC can be the fantastical, like, super out there otherworldly kind of stuff. I prefer that, I think, especially in the comics, because DC Comics is way out there.
Yeah.
But like, and it's a totally different vibe, especially from previous DC stuff. All of the Snyderverse stuff is super highly realistic and grounded to an extent.
I mean, kind of not though at the same time. Like,
I think it is. I think you can't. Man of Steel. You don't look at Man of Steel and be like, that doesn't seem fantastically believable. Like, all of the Kryptonian stuff kind of feels like it could be based in reality of like some advanced civilization.
Well, okay. I mean, it's
with the exception of the crystals.
It's
and stuff,
presented in a way that is meant to make you feel that way, which is fine. I really enjoyed that.
Versus like animated Superman, where you got Brainiac with like crazy tentacle like robots and crazy huge like shrink ray things that he can do all kinds of. That's what I want to see in the gun stuff. Like, crazy wacky stuff. I don't know why we went on a DC tangent. I'm sorry.
Well, you literally
I did it on purpose.
I would say I don't care in these Marvel movies whether or not they try to go big and kind of spacey or however you want to, like, if they want to go wild or not. Like, again, because I think Thor Ragnarok is pretty over the top, and it's one of my favorite ones. And I enjoy kind of the zaniness that's there. I think
it was different from what we saw Thor in.
The biggest challenge that they have is finding a tone and sticking with it.
That's fair.
And it can change from movie to movie. You just got to find the right tone for the right character and kind of keep that balance, because the last Thor got out of control, and it was like, okay, this is too much, right?
Well,
so I think that's the director and, you know, Feige and whatever brain trust you want to say is kicking all this stuff out at this point in time. Like, this movie is a good example of, like you said, all right, we've got a small group of grounded characters. We're going to throw them up against something that they have no business trying to fight.
No reason to go up against.
And I think because of that, it's easier to invest in them.
See, I still feel like that grounded can also mean that you interact more with those characters. You get a more idea of the stakes and the personality of those characters when you get a grounded movie like that. Yeah. We got more from Yelena in this than we did in Black Widow or even in the Hawkeye show for a little bit.
Yelena is a more realized character at this point in time than Natasha was throughout.
Yes, absolutely.
Three phases of movies, right?
Like, you outside of what are the basic character traits of what Black Widow is?
Yeah.
Natasha is super spy. She's there.
Her and Clint have a lot of history.
There's a lot of history.
She's got hearing
baggage.
about it. She's got red in her ledger.
All that red.
All that red.
But like, that's not a character. That's a character trait, but it's not a personality. When you say I've got all this baggage.
Black Widow in those movies has a bio.
The closest
it doesn't have a real personality.
The closest thing was trying to have a relationship with Bruce.
Yeah,
but and they
that got fumbled. And
well, it
messed
totally
up too,
did.
man.
But they dropped the ball on it, because what they should have done with any kind of relationship with her, what should have been like, she didn't know how to have a relationship with like a actual romantic relationship, because she's played so many people. She didn't know if it was just her training or if it was like genuine.
Yeah.
And so like when they have their awkward moments and stuff to her, she should have totally like been second guessing herself, because she didn't know how if that was genuine or not.
Well, they didn't take any of the time to develop.
Well,
all right.
Anyways.
All right, yeah,
but that's the comparison between, you know, well, she's not a Black Widow. I guess she kind of is.
She was a Black Widow.
The two Black Widows, I guess, that we've seen at this point.
All right, so I just want to kind of quickly run through what this movie is. Thunderbolts, it's a collection of a bunch of kind of secondary characters / villains who have been in various Marvel movies and TV shows. You know, and again, they're a fun bunch once you get them all together.
They are the underdogs if there ever were in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, to me, look, this movie, like I kind of realized after I watched this movie, while I enjoyed it, I realized Marvel makes two movies. They make a movie where you have a hero and he fights somebody who's similarly powered to him, and then that's how the movie goes. And then they also make another movie where a group of people are hilariously outmatched by a much stronger thing, and they defeat that guy with family and togetherness.
No, it's an ensemble.
Correct.
It's an ensemble. So this is why some
do they beat this guy with family and togetherness?
That's why they beat this guy with the power of friendship. That's what they do.
Family and togetherness.
No, power of friendship. But like, they might as well. Care Bears stared right at that guy and been like, "Yay, we saved the day."
Bob.
But we haven't gotten into it yet.
Yeah.
But you're right. They do make those two types of movies, but some characters work better in an ensemble than they do by themselves. Ruffalo would have never, because of licensing stuff or the different types of deals and things that were made between studios and things, would have never gotten his own Hulk movie. But the Hulk only works, as far as I'm concerned, when he's with an ensemble. By himself, it's the same story. It's the man, on the road. He's the dejected man who's just on the run.
Yeah.
You work him into any other ensemble story. That's why he's so great in Ragnarok, because he's just there.
He gets to just absolutely be some dressing, be some sprinkles.
Some characters, again, even though they're like, it's their movie, other characters work better when they're lumped together in a movie like Ragnarok, like Civil War, like the Avengers proper, together than they would ever apart by themselves. Yelena should never get her own movie.
Correct.
None of them should, as far as I'm concerned.
No, none of them. Yeah, and this movie definitely reaffirmed.
Right.
They've made the right choice by putting all of these characters together. All right, so to summarize this movie somewhat briefly, you've got a series of these people.
All these rejects.
You kind of find out they're all doing some
shady
Black Ops work, and
through a series
of events, they all end up together in one location, only to find out that they've all been assigned to kill each other. Essentially, they're essentially getting wiped out. Like they're meant to be eliminated, taken off the board. They are loose ends that need to be taken care of. They need to be cleaned up. And I mean, essentially, as they do that, they meet a guy and who just kind of shows up there, and he ends up being more than they realize.
It's introducing. It's a good way to introduce new characters without them being forced down your throat, I think.
Sure. Again, anytime you can avoid the biopic, the bio image that they did like Suicide Squad, right?
And I'm super glad that this movie can be taken off the table of anyone saying that this is comparable to like Suicide Squad.
Well, it's like Gunn's Suicide Squad.
No, not really. They're not. They are seen as expendable, but they don't take themselves as expendable.
Yeah, no. If you want to say they are not.
They're not like
their objective is not to die. Like there's not a bomb in their neck or whatever.
They're not being forced to do this, even though they've been the circumstances that lead them into things. They kind of unite forces and basically are trying to just survive versus they're at threat that they're going to get killed if they don't follow orders.
Yeah.
So it's very different in comparisons.
All right. And for the record, so let's go through our characters that we've got assembled at this point in time.
You're going to go through the team?
You've got John Walker, who is the discount Captain America, the Captain America that never was.
Well, he's considered the U.S. agent.
U.S. agent is his
currently, which they never use in the movie, which is fine.
Then you've got Yelena. She's got a last name.
Yelena Belova.
So she is Natasha Romanoff's Black Widow sister. They grew up under the care of Red Guardian, who's played by David Harbour.
Pretty good in this.
So look,
he's fine. He's comic relief.
He kind of is like, they may have used him a little too much for my taste. Like, I enjoy him. I think he's great, but it was like I needed it like 20% less because it is one note. It is the one thing that he does. And again, it's not that I don't enjoy it.
You can't say he doesn't have some depth, though.
Oh, he's got heart. Again, but it's either big and boisterous or it's heart.
His whole deal has always been to prove himself. He had his opportunity. Sure. He wanted to be very much like Cap, where he was like paraded around, shown as like the first super soldier for the Soviet Union, being the guy who was put on to breakfast cereals and made toys and stuff. And he had that grandeur at a very early point in his life, and he wanted it back. When the real work had to go down, he wanted it back. And now he's constantly searching for glory, is what he says.
Sure, yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
it's a character trait. He's just super boisterous about it.
He is and it's just, to me, the movie could have used just a little bit less of him, but I still love him, and he's perfectly cast. All right, so we've got Red Guardian. So we've got Ghost.
You don't know her
I don't know her real name. She was the villain in Ant-Man 2.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Wasp.
It's Ava. Nope. It's Ava.
There you go,
something.
Ava. Yeah. Then you've got Taskmaster, who was a villain in the Black Widow movie.
Right. She was the daughter of Drago. Not Ivan Drago.
Not Ivan Drago.
Right. No.
It's Ivan
Drakov. Drokov.
Yeah. The big bad toxic male from Black Widow.
His
daughter
secret
is
reveal at the end of it was
right.
that it was his daughter that he basically brainwashed and turned into a killing machine.
Right. So that's really all you've got at this moment in the movie.
Well, at the beginning.
These are the only ones who
They are the operatives that are sent to a specific location to, unbeknownst to them, watch each other, and they are each other's targets, essentially.
Right.
That you come to realize.
And then in the middle of this, you meet a guy named Bob.
Who is? Do you know who
Bill
this
Pullman's
guy is?
son. I know who it is.
But you also know what he's in.
He's Top Gun. He's Bob and
He's
Top
Bob
Gun
and
too.
Top Gun also.
Yeah, Top
which
Gun
is
also.
Hilarious.
That's we'll call it that. Top Gun also.
Sure, because nobody calls it Top
Gun
Maverick.
2. Top
It is
Gun
always
2.
Top Gun 2.
Yeah.
T2.
That's right.
TG2.
So I mean, they're there. They kind of, without getting into any kind of specifics, they get out of there. You know what I mean? And then essentially you get.
Well, there's the opposing force that we haven't mentioned. She's back for the main movie that she appears in, which is Elaine.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yep, her Valentina.
Valentina, yeah.
She's the guy the one pulling the strings.
She is the one trying to get them all off the table at this point in time. She's trying to clean up all her messes.
Did you really need that as being like her going through the scrutinization from the government and stuff, and her being in charge of this
kind of the boy kind of turned into the boys, right? I was just like,
I was like, do we really
I was like,
need this?
I mean,
make the government the enemy.
I mean, to me,
okay
I like
with that.
her. I think she's great. She's perfectly slimy in this role.
Did you get during that whole courtroom scene, which is very early in the movie? I'm super glad they got rid of it, like right then and there. That is like Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2 scene, absolutely.
It's
Tony
the same
Stark on
thing.
Capitol Hill, addressing, I won't,
It's very weird.
It's literally the same thing. She is addressing the same bullet points of the world's building Iron Man suits versus the world's building heroes.
Right.
And there are no Avengers.
They don't say that in the you don't say that in the congressional hearing itself.
I thought she said it to him.
I didn't realize that you can impeach directors of the CIA.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Sure.
But I guess you can impeach anyone.
Articles of impeachment. Why not?
But so she's accused of the company that she is the CEO of, or was. She's on the board, she says.
Yeah.
But of doing wrongdoing, experimentations, a lot of shady stuff. But they don't have proof necessarily, and they're trying to acquire this
everything
proof.
keeps coming up clean when they go to investigate.
And then we're introduced to our other main character, who is
good old Bucky Barnes, our guy.
Congressman,
junior Congressman Bucky Barnes,
which is so odd.
It's so weird. Again, they introduced this in Captain America, the last Captain America, right? And I don't know. It just seems like a weird, they don't know what to do with him.
Well, I think it's fine for as Bucky as a character, as a man, as that person.
Yeah.
Like, he's fought the fight. He's still Steve. I don't think was ever against the government entirely, even though the government kind of turned on him. But I think that he still wants to do good for the nation, just not as a soldier. So it makes sense that he would have gone into politics. He's not a good politician, but he's got good intentions.
That's they're like a gag, right? Where they're just like,
he doesn't know how to talk to people.
Still learning how to do. He doesn't understand that game. It's just a weird subplot to me where it feels like that just, if you're going to drop something like that, it feels like it should be a little heavier.
You know what would have been more fun was to get some cutbacks or see some memorabilia of his campaign trail. He got elected.
To me, why not throw billboards up while you're in New York City or something, right? And have fun with it. Because again, that could have been.
What was his platform?
So again, that should have been. I never get it, but I mean, we'll just kind of discuss as we work through things. But to me, they all kind of our group, when they eventually hook up with Bucky, which is what eventually happens, they're kind of trying to talk to Bucky, and he's just very dismissive of them.
Well, he sees them as bad guys.
He sees them as bad guys, right? And I get it. But again, throughout the movie, they should have been jabbing him about the whole junior congressman the
Right.
whole time.
Right. What are you doing here?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, don't you got babies to kiss or something like that?
Aren't you shaking hands and kissing babies?
Like, that's an element that I felt like is like, it's just kind of
Well,
lacking. So
that's the problem with them. It's not that they don't. Most of them worked good together, but some of them don't.
He's my problem with this movie, to be honest with you.
Bucky is there.
Yeah, like
I thought that he would have taken like the leader role, but he kind of doesn't.
No, he doesn't. Like,
it's like he doesn't know what to do.
They do like this. The fight choreography is set up to kind of set it up to make it look like he's the heavy that comes in.
Well, he's the experienced.
Well,
He's done it before.
To me, I'm like, kind of feel like John Walker would probably be able to stand toe to toe with him.
He's done it before. And
yeah, like it's just like, so to me, Bucky just feels kind of tacked on and lost, and kind of the rest of that group.
Well, he's
clicks,
not the focus,
and you really get the sense of them coming together.
We know Bucky's character up until this point, so he didn't need elaborated on as much as the others.
But why is he there then, other than to hopefully maybe get us as viewers a little, like, to draw in more of an audience?
Yes, that's
he's
it.
the familiar face.
Yes, that's it exactly.
Is he strong enough of a face to do that? Like,
Sebastian Stan? I think he is. I think that
I mean, I like him. Again, but he was the character to me in this movie that I was like, he didn't need to be in this movie.
Familiar face. It makes sense. Him being the dejected, like, kind of. He's outside of the other previous hero characters. He's the one that's has the most ghosts in his closet. He's the one that's been on the outs of, Civil War is literally about him.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm fine with it, but he didn't have to be the primary focus. But then when he shows up, everyone kind of looks to him to be like, well, what do we do?
Yeah.
And he's just as lost as they are, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty much all of our main players, right?
Yeah, I would say so. That's the cast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except for ancillary side character, was her name Mel?
Oh, the assistant. Mel, the assistant. Yeah. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Yeah. It's a Val. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, man, this is a big role for just a random character. And not that I needed to see someone else that we've seen before in this, but it was very.
She's certainly got a pivotal role. She's still a secondary character.
Right.
She's just kind of hey, I'm around to make sure everything in the movie can kind of operate as it needs to, so we can get to the end of the movie.
Like a screenwriting trope that she represents. It's not like a MacGuffin, but like she is like the one who gives the information.
She greases all the wheels. She's
guess.
Basil Exposition.
She is the exposition.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She kind of, she literally is the link. She is the bridge that gets your heroes.
Coulson. She's the Coulson of this.
She kind of bridges your heroes to their main event.
They get them all together. She's what gets them all together. She's the informational linchpin that gets them all in the same place.
Without her, Bucky doesn't get to them.
And then without Bucky, they don't get to New York.
Right.
They're together. They go to New York. Third act happens. And then you guys are on your own.
Overall, to stub or not to stub, general ratings, overall things. So I'm going to say for me, like if I were to say to stub or not to stub, I'd say stub, go watch it. You'll have fun. There's nothing cinematically in this movie. Like, if you waited to watch this one, you'll enjoy it at home, but I don't think you'd be upset if you went to go and see this one.
And it's
not can't miss.
It's kind of, I mean, outside of probably watching Black Widow, I don't think you need to watch a whole bunch of other stuff with all these
I feel like you can kind of just walk into this one.
Probably. It's like Civil War in that sense, where if you have casual knowledge of like them, you could watch this independently from the others and be perfectly fine.
I mean, again, it's not like there's a lot of personal. Their battle, their struggle isn't very personal.
Well, it's not very world changing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not a lot of personal stakes for these characters. They're just there to bounce off of each other and beat things up.
Two or three times they just walk away.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're saying
so I'd say Stub. Don't sweat it if you miss it though. Just watch it when you can watch it when you get home, but you will enjoy it if you go. And I'd say like if I have to give it a number, I'd give it
This is a solid 8.
Oh, see, I'm a little lower on it than that. I think. I think I'm not far away from you though. Like I'm probably 7.6. 7.6.
I don't see how 4 points makes that much of a difference.
Oh, and 8 to me is like. That's a pretty darn good
prestige movie. Of just number ranking, I think, is a little outside of what you would just say good and not good or excellent is.
Well, this is why I'm thinking about getting rid of the numbers in general and just going with stub or not to stub because it's like
it's fine. That's a yes or no. There's no gray area.
Right? Like, yeah, because sometimes I say, yeah, you should go see the worst movie ever.
This is one of the things that I think to supplement a stub or no stub though would be. Do you have to see it opening weekend in the theater or do you wait for streaming?
I think you can wait and watch this one.
So that's the difference. It's solid. It's worth watching, but you don't have to see it like opening weekend.
And that's why I would say it's not an 8 because if I'm saying a movie is an 8, that means like, yeah, you should go see this right away.
Okay. I agree in the sense that, yes, it's solid.
Yeah.
But like my bias, Marvel movies are better when you get to experience them in a theater with other people, especially if you're a fan. Like there were moments in our theater, really weird people.
Oh, the laughter that occurs,
like,
man! Yeah.
Like someone either really loves David Harbour, or like every time Guardian was on screen, it was just like belly laugh.
They were dying
all
man.
the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then some of the commentary that I heard behind me was pretty spot on. I was impressed by some of the knowledge for some people. But yeah, that's the experience that you kind of lose out on. Like, not every movie needs to be seen with a group of people and stuff. But like,
this is a movie that is fun to watch with people.
Marvel stuff always has a good turnout, I think. Well, hopefully, if you can get a good theater on an opening weekend and stuff, and doesn't turn into a Minecraft social experiment that goes downhill really quick.
Yeah.
But like, that's one of the true things that I think is lost with the movie going experience is when you don't have everyone's there excited to be there for their own reason. Not that I think that like you have to applaud at the end
like
of it
opening night.
like that.
I like going to see a movie with a crowd that's pumped
there
to
for
go
a
and see the movie.
You are there for the same reason.
I agree. Yeah, that is my.
You're not catching it on a $5 Friday or Tuesdays with like everybody bringing their kids, and it's the worst of the worst possible people because they just got time and they want it cheap and they just need to see it before somebody else like ruins something for them. Opening weekend, do it.
So you say opening weekend. This is a movie that people should go see on opening weekend, though. That's what you feel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
As all Marvel ones should be.
No, see that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Your experience
all
changes.
Marvel movies should be good enough that they should be taken in like that, but they are not all good enough to be taken in on opening weekend.
But if you want that experience from a fandom that actually I'd like to think that most of anybody who's there on an opening night would care to be there, you're going to get that then opposed to later. If you do it later, then you do get that biasness that sets in and you're like, this isn't good enough. But an event type of thing, an environment changes that opinion. You can have a good time in a movie and still think it's bad, but at least you had a good time. And a lot of that comes down to
But that doesn't mean
experience.
It's a good movie.
I just said that. I said you can have a good time, but
we're here to talk
bad.
about the quality of the movies, not, hey, is this just always... I mean, I guess
this is dejected from the opinion of the movie itself. I'm talking about a theatrical experience.
I'm with you.
Versus seeing it at home.
I am pro
versus seeing
movie theater.
I got more out of the laughs and the jokes, which are fine in this movie, but knowing that a portion of people actually really enjoyed those jokes, whether they were sincere about it or not, means something more to me because at least it entertained somebody more than it did me. I enjoy that. I'm more empathetic about other people's feelings on things than it's just...
That's
versus seeing it in a bubble when you're watching it on streaming and those jokes come across and they don't do anything for you and then you hate it. That doesn't mean that everyone hated it.
It's cheap comedy, then, is what you're saying. Good comedy is going to transcend that environment.
We already brought up the difference between our Simpsons comedy and whether or not it's actual perfect from its comedy origins or if it's just got a couple of good gags in it.
All right, we've gone on too long. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nope, feel like it did enough.
Okay.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do.
That'll do.
That'll do.
S-T-U-B-S spells stubs. S-T-U-B-S spells stubs.
Stubs all done.